speaking of this nafs, this inside self that you and I were given, this person inside that actually only you know and Allah knows, nobody else knows that person truly. That's the conversations you and I have with ourselves are only known to ourselves. The thoughts that we entertain in our mind truly are only and only ours. And it's actually so guarded sometimes that we're terrified that somebody might know what we really think we're really thinking, what's going on in our head. It's a very private, secure place inside, deep inside of ourselves. What does he say about that place? He says, فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. So he inspired it, meaning this deep nafs inside, he inspired it with its ability to explode, with fujur, وَتَقْوَاهَا, and an ability and a desire to protect itself and to be safeguarded. So, and by the way, explosion is the opposite of being safe. Those are two opposing forces. And what does fujur mean? Fujur actually is, you don't have to know a lot of Arabic to know that, but even if you know anything about the prayers, the morning prayer is called what? It's called fajr, from fujur. Why? Because the light explodes out of the sky, it tears through. So, in fajr or in fijar is used, إِذَا السَّمَاءُ انْفَجَرَتْ, when the sky is going to explode open, judgment day. A fajr, they commonly translate fajr as a sinner, but fajr actually means someone who's impulsive, whose feelings make them explode into action, whose feelings make them explode and say whatever words came in their mouth. They have no reservation, they don't hold back. Like you see an open empty highway and you've got a car that can go fast and your foot just kind of floors it on the accelerator. But then long in the distance you see red and blue lights flashing, right? And you haven't, and all of a sudden taqwa kicks in. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. He inspired the human being to want to be rebellious, to want to do crazy things, to have all kinds of impulses, but also inspired the human being with the ability to control themselves. And this is actually what separates us from animals, isn't it? Because an animal can see a prey, and if it's hungry, that's it. It's attacking. It's going to rip through that prey. But a human being can desire something and then put other brakes in place. A disbeliever can put brakes on, like, oh, well, is that against the law? Is anybody watching? Is there a security camera? And they'll want to do it, but they won't. But for a Muslim, even if there's no security cameras, there's still security cameras, right? There's still angels recording, kiram and katimin. There's still Allah watching, and that puts us to a stop. But that's still taqwa in the end of the day. There's a spiritual taqwa, but there's also other kinds of taqwa that other human beings exhibit. It's not taqwa of Allah, but it could be taqwa of the law, or taqwa of a security camera, or taqwa of other social or emotional consequences. It's still taqwa of that kind, right? But that's what Allah put inside of us. Now, so at the end of all of that, it's like the climax of all the amazing things Allah created: the sky, the earth, the night, the day, the sky, the sun, the moon. All of that is the climax of it all is the ultimate example of balance, the human being. And I don't want you to think about the philosophical entity human being. I want you to think about yourself, and I think about myself. Allah is claiming that you and I were created with an incredible ability to be balanced. He's made that claim. And he's compared our capacity to be balanced with the balance that he created the sky and the earth with. The balance with which the harmony with which he created the sun and the moon. He gave us a light inside us that can be so soothing and calm, like washamsi, washamsi wa duhaha. He put that inside of us. We have an ability to be at peace inside ourselves. Now, when you hear that, you're like, but I'm not at peace. I'm pretty angry. I'm pretty upset. And I have so many, and those emotions are all real. Those are darknesses that exist. But at the same time, Allah balanced that with an ability to find calm and to find yourself and to find your true nafs that is balanced. My late teacher, one of my late teachers, Dr. Isar Ahmed, rahimahullah, he used to say, when he talked about the nafs in his study of Quran, when he wanted to help people and his students understand what nafs means, this inner self, he used to say, think of it as you are inside of you, there is a wild horse with no mane, no reins, no nothing. You're riding this wild horse and you're grabbing it by its hair and you're trying to control it. Even if you let go of it a little bit, it's going to run wild. It's going to trample over things. It's going to jump into a canyon. It's a very powerful horse that's inside. And that's actually kind of what a nafs is. It's fujur. It just wants to do whatever it wants to do. It has impulses. And we have to keep it restrained by our taqwa. Now, and if we don't, then who's running the show? If you don't hold this horse back, if you don't hold it back, then it runs wherever it wants to, and you follow. So you're no longer in charge in a crazy way. Your nafs is in charge. Your nafs take a part of your nafs, the nafs that la ammaratun bisu, the one that keeps commanding you to do terrible things or say terrible things. It's in charge now, and you surrender yourself to it, and that's a scary place to be.